talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. Motherfucking pre-All Star edition. We're here.
This is a big one. People have been waiting for this one.
With bated breath. We're recording on the rare Sunday, the Lord's Day, for me anyway. You know what?
Just a Sunday for me.
What a religious Greek Orthodox Christian I am. We all know that. So this is big for me on the Sabbath to be here. We wanted to make sure because the coaches picked their. I think they might actually be voting on it today with the same day we are. So this will come out tomorrow, and we were not able to do it Monday morning. So we said, fuck it. We're here Sunday right before. We have not watched the Pelicans Celtics game yet, but go Pels. That would be funny. Would love to see the Celtics lose. So we're recording this a little bit before that game started.
It's amazing how tight the East is still, man. I mean, it seems like the Celtics have really just underachieved this year.
Yeah, no, it's everything. Everyone is basically within a couple games of each other. I mean, it's really not the Sixers. The Sixers are number one, but it's like the Nets have gone on this run and they're basically closing in. And
shouts out to Joel Embiid with that hot 50 piece the other night.
Oh my God, yes. I was watching that one. That's a crucial one for the battle for steak. And I was rooting. It was hard because I like this Sixers team. I was on record as they were one of the teams I was pulling for. I thought they were going to be really good, and I want them to figure it out with Simmons and Embiid. I think it's a nice story. I loved the process. I love all that. I mean, I'm the kind of nerd that doesn't. I do. Like, basically, I wish the Knicks would do essentially the process. That's basically those are our only disagreements here is I'm like process oriented here. And you're Brian Colangelo with the big ass collars trying to make win now moves. And I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful Hinky.
Danny Abdullah, he was Tony Kukoc, motherfucker. The mensch off the bench could have changed everything for us.
Anyway, so yeah, let's recap a couple. There's been some really fun games, but yeah, you're right. The East is pretty close. I mean, it's crazy. The Nets are within their game and a half behind the Sixers
without Durant. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you're like James Harden and Kyrie Irving. That's enough.
Exactly. It's
their bench as well has been killer.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those things where it's like I sort of talked about this on the Patreon. This week we had a very fun Patreon, but I was trying to make the point that it's like if you're missing one of those guys, how much can it really help your offense? And I think I've got the analogy. It's like if you've got Harden and Kyrie, you took 2 dick pills. It's the difference between 2 and 3 dick pills. Okay, it's like your dick it is harder, but like at a certain, what are you trying to? Are you trying to destroy a woman's pussy? No, you're just trying to. It's hard enough to fucking win the sexual game, and that's exactly.
I'm gonna ask you, Stav, because I don't know. Is 2 dick pills not enough?
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Without KD is the 3rd dick pill. That's what I'm saying. If you have Harden, if you have Kyrie, arguably 1 dick pill is enough, depending on what your night has been like. How many vodka sodas you've sucked off, how many hot dogs are in there. Sometimes 1 is not going to do it, okay? Let me tell you. when you're living fast and loose on the road and you're mixing a whole pepperoni pizza and 6 wings with a dick pill, sometimes that 2nd dick pill needs to come through. And that's if you're playing the Lakers. All right.
Sure.
That's,
Sure.
Now,
who have natural dick pills. LeBron, just hard as fucking 30.
That's right.
All natural.
Well, that's okay. In this analogy, LeBron would be like a giant cheesesteak, right? Who's fighting against your penis.
Sure.
Right. And AD would be like a giant milkshake that you're having. So your stomach's gurgly. You really should be shitting and not fucking. And so you've decided.
And Caldwell Pope is like a Jack and Coke, where it's like, I thought I'd be okay, but this is really
depending on the night, it could be fine, but it could really wreck you. One could really wreck you. It depends how strong it is, what kind of liquor it is, all that kind of stuff. So that's with the Nets right now, and Harden and KD are I would say they're let's say they're a 10 milligram dick pill. When
Okay.
Kyrie is probably, I would say maybe a 6. Still could get the job done in ideal circumstances, but by himself, it can be tough sledding depending on the opponent. So that's what it is about the Nets. It's like, yeah, they're really good.
Kyrie's a dick pill that fucks with your head.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting a headache. Kyrie's a gas station dick pill, where it's just like some nights it's fucking, oh, this is the best dick pill of all time. And the other night you're red, your ears are hot, your dick is softer than it's ever been in your life. You really don't know what you're getting. But yes, Harden and KD are both medical grade dick pills. And it's at a certain point, one of them is enough, which is also why I think the argument about if you're playing a video game you know what I mean? You trade Kyrie probably for a wing or some kind of defense first guy. Like in a video game. But
honestly, who in a video game, who's out there?
Ben Simmons, think? You know what I mean? Like that's who I would, does that
kind of make sense for both teams? Although here's the problem. Simmons' defense this year, again, he is outstanding, and he's given you a nice 15, 8-8, and it's without the headache of a Kyrie. So you're kind of like, Simmons in the playoffs might make a difference.
Oh, totally, dude. Ben Simmons if you put him on that team, he is perfect. Because the other thing with Ben Simmons that like you can look at his counting stats and they're not as impressive as other guys. And this actually is probably will come up in our All-Star discussion.
Yeah.
You can look at his counting stats and they're not that impressive, but and you see that he's not really, you're like, oh, this guy doesn't shoot. He doesn't help the offense. And on paper, it looks like that. But then without Ben Simmons, there's a reason Tobias Harris isn't shooting as many threes. There's a reason Seth Curry's not getting open. He creates threes. He's one of the 3-point. I mean, Ben Simmons is like, if you could dream it, he's the perfect guy for that, for the Nets, really. You put Ben Simmons and like a couple buyout centers on there, and you have a beautiful team.
Remember last year we were talking about D'Angelo Russell, the trade. Like would this work from the Warriors? D'Angelo for Simmons. I think that's when D'Angelo had a little higher stock, but because he's a great jump shooter, maybe this is great for both teams because Simmons would work so well with Steph and Clay if they're healthy.
Yeah,
I would Draymond 2.0 a little bit.
I would love to. We should put a footnote in that for the episode, the yearly episode we're going to do where we look back at our takes, because if either one of us was like, that makes sense, boy, do we look like fucking idiots. I want to say I didn't think that, but I can't. I forget every episode that we do.
I do think we've always rated Simmons better. I've always think we've been like, he's a better player. If anything, we're like, well, fit wise, this might make more sense. But yeah, I mean, even fit wise, you can't make that move.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, anyway, so I don't remember how the fuck we got onto that, but
we're talking about the Sixers,
the Nets.
And
that's right.
Embiid's 50-point game, but I
that 50 piece over the Bulls, brutal.
There's something about these like young teams sometimes, and I hate to speak in like, talk radio.
Yeah, Republican sports fan. I did it last episode as well.
But when you have two great young players, which you do have in Embiid and Simmons, and it's kind of like, all right, whose team is it? It's Embiid's team. I think once you realize that,
this is the most
better.
This is the most clear it has ever been in the history of this Sixers like tandem. Yeah. And I think that's probably because Embiid keeps getting better, and I think Simmons does get better. I think defensively he's gotten better, and I think on the offensive end, he's basically the player. That's how good he was as a rookie, right? That he's basically the same player right now. I mean, when he actually played, he was fucking transformative, and everyone's dick was just drooling at the thought of at the thought of Ben Simmons now, right? Like, oh, in 3 years, imagine what he's done. And the reality is, he is a better player overall. He's just
because of his defense, but
his offense
jumper.
Not just jumper, but it's like he's not shooting at all. Not just like the three, forget about it. But he's just like not. If it's not with his, you're right, Draymond type offensive skills, where it's like passing, making the right moves, all this kind of shit. Yeah, he has not.
Do you know who Simmons is?
Who's that?
He's giant Rajon Rondo.
Yeah,
that's what he is. He can't shoot.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone says he's fucking poor man's LeBron. No, he's giant Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, that's probably the closer comparison.
Rondo was
giant, stronger. Yeah, absolutely, a great passer. It's like I don't know. I maybe it's just sentimental that I want to rate Simmons a little better than that, but no, I think you're right in terms of the comparison. Um, anyway, why don't we talk about some games we saw before diving into this All-Star discussion? I guess by the time this will come out probably Monday morning first thing. So sorry, we didn't see the Sunday games, but yes, that 50 piece was brutal for the battle for steak. Having said that, my boys came back and rallied and fucking got to win against my other guys.
Sacramento, big whoop.
Very good team, a team on the rise. But yes, Embiid when he played the Bulls, it was hysterical. He's like, can he keep this up? Because he's basically playing like Kobe sometimes. Like he's playing face up. He's doing like 1 foot fadeaway jumpers. It's like, what the fuck are we watching?
He's doing some Dirk shit as well, where you're like, wait, what? That's kind of like,
you're right, Dirk. Yes.
But yeah, it's weird.
He's slow, even slower Dirk. It's like these movements are so slow, but they work. It looks so weird when you're watching him like take a 18-footer. He's just taking his guy off the dribble, but like the slowest crossover you've ever seen in your life, but it works.
That's so true. You know what it is? I think Embiid is almost like maturing in front of our eyes, where it's almost like the way a young person fucks when they're like 20 and they've got the energy and you're like, oh my God, look at what they're showing us. But they come instantly. That was Embiid, right?
Yes.
Whereas now he's doing the smart moves. He's going down on her first. He's making things work. Embiid, he's playing with his own nipples. He doesn't worry about it anymore. He's not self-conscious anymore. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I am taking 18-footers. I have this skill set. I do have sensitive nipples. I'm rubbing them and I'm asking her to suck them and I'm going to bust. That's the kind of shit he's on. This is really, we've really outdone ourselves. This is the worst basketball podcast.
Oh yeah, we're coming in hot. What is it? 10 minutes in, and we've got an extended dick pill and nipple play analogy. But you know what? I stand by both of them, Sammy.
No, but it really is like the shot selection is just better. It's crazy that he's taking these hard shots, but like a couple years ago when he'd shoot threes, he'd be like, another three. Every old school player is like, take him in the fucking post. Well, he doesn't have to live on dunks. He has that ability, but he is looking like he can just overpower you or hit the fucking finesse move on you. And that's separating him right now. That's why I think he's having, it's between him and Jokic. I think you got to give him the edge based on Philly's record.
I think so. I think so for sure.
Because everyone always said Embiid at his peak is better than Jokic. And this is kind of just based on his physicality.
Yeah, and not just that, but it's like Jokic has had some games where, although I guess Embiid has too, but
Jokic is incredible. I'm not trying to take,
but no, but Jokic has had some games where he puts up 50 and the team still fucking loses because here's the thing, Embiid, sure, Jokic is a better offensive player, but Embiid is so much better on defense. Yeah. Like it's and Jokic is like and I love Jokic, but it's like your center really like. A good center makes the whole defense, and Embiid is both right now. Yeah. And it's like, as much as I love Jokic so much, but that is where, because there's a reason he puts up 50 and his team loses, right? It's because the defense sucks dick. And ultimately, whose fault is that for the most part? It's your centers. Let's be honest, like that's like where as your center goes, typically so goes the rest of your defense. In rare occasions.
I think that not always, but yeah, I mean, like we could talk about the Warriors. They've always had a good defense, even when Zaza was playing center, there's that, it's debatable. You look at the 90s though, and you're right. I think like Akeem, Ewing, David Robinson, Alonzo Mourning, like you had a tough center, you had a tough defense.
Well, I think even now it's like even now it's the thing of like, okay, sure. If you have 4 guys with incredible IQ and all the right skill set, like all the right, like physical tools, if you have Clay, Draymond in his fucking DPOY prime, Andre Iguodala coming off the bench, Harrison Barnes, who's young Harrison Barnes, Livingston, like, yeah, okay, you don't need it. But it's like in every other case, like the Jazz are a perfect example, right? Where it's like you have fucking door-to-door salesman body, Joe Ingles, he's a very good defender.
Door-to-door salesman body.
Because of Rudy. And I think that's true. I bet you, I mean, the Nets were really good the short amount of time they had fucking Jared Allen, he improved their defense so much they had to trade him.
Marcus Gasol and the Grizzlies, you
Totally,
never thought of Zach Randolph as like a great defender with limited lateral mobility, but Gasol was such a good defender.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard on the Magic,
Oh my God, he's a perfect example. I mean, even the I'll be the one to say the word Knicks first this podcast. I'm really proud of you, by the way. You didn't bring him up last on the Patreon until later, but the Knicks too. You let Mitchell Robinson play full games, and he makes a big difference. When the last few years,
eraser. Our defense is very good.
Exactly, and I mean a lot of that is Tibbs, but you have the kind of that he's the type of player we're talking about. And in any case,
sure.
So the Sixers have been pretty impressive. Embiid had that wild 50 piece and snatched that from the fucking Bulls. And then last night we watched. There was the Heat Lakers game.
Great game. Jimmy's smile at the end of the game. Goddamn. Jimmy is so likable. He is so goddamn likable.
Yeah, and he's playing out of his mind right now. I mean, the triple double, like he's really like, hey, I know All Star's coming up, and it's sooner than if he had another week, I think he said like it's a lock, but it's tough right now. But he's playing out of his mind, and
we'll see if he's on my list coming up. I have a spoiler. I
love the tease. I love the intra podcast teaser.
I just gave you the. If you play your cards right, you might get a hand job tease. Jimmy Butler.
You just put your hand on my thigh for a second at the bar, and I'm like, oh.
You know what's cool about the Heat is with that game? So horrible inbounds pass. I believe it was Iguodala to Jimmy Butler. LeBron with an amazing defensive play to steal that ball. Just
stealing it and having the game should have been over. LeBron has no business. They had fouled, and it's a 2-point game, and the Heat inbound the ball, get fouled, game's over. LeBron
and Jimmy Butler's not used to that. He's not used to being like just man strength out of the way.
Yeah.
But like that's LeBron to 36. So they take the ball down. They double LeBron it was such a good defensive play in a broken play to just get on him and not let LeBron get anything.
Yeah.
He has to pass to Caruso. The recovery on the Caruso should have been wide open because it was the right play by LeBron.
Yeah.
They still kind of got a hand in the vicinity of Caruso, who's not a great shooter, but that was the Heat. The Heat in a nutshell, like they're just a smart team. Even making the dumb play, they make a smart recovery.
I will say that game though, I was watching it and it was like, I don't know. Did you get the feeling like I thought the Heat should have put them away like 4 minutes? Like I was about to turn. I was literally sitting on my couch being like, all right, this game's over. Let me just wait a couple more seconds. I'll turn it off and go to bed. From the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter, the Heat scored like 12 points in the fourth quarter. It was crazy. The Lakers were playing like dog shit, but the Heat just also were. So it stayed like a 4-point game. I think it was, what was it like? The final score was like in the 90s, wasn't it? Or like
the Heat seem a little out of shape. Like I don't know what it is, but like Kendrick Nunn has been playing great basketball.
Kendrick Nunn was out of his mind that game. Yeah. I think he had 30.
Lakers don't even have AD. It's a little weird to see without AD and kind of sloppy. And
well, that game specifically felt really strange because to me, it didn't look like LeBron gave a fuck, honestly. Like it looked like LeBron was waiting for the Heat to end the game so that he could hit the bench. Like he didn't seem engaged. Even on that last play, I know you double team him, but it's like that pass he made to Caruso was almost like, you know what? Fuck it. He was like, you could just take it. Like that, even though he's double teamed, it felt to me is like you get the steal and you just fucking take this. You're LeBron. Like take the shot.
Try to get a foul or something.
Try and get a foul. An and one gets you you could win the game on an and one. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, it just felt like he just said, fuck it, take the ball, Caruso. He did not look engaged, and I can't really blame him. I mean, his team was not playing great. They were also missing Schroeder with the he was out for the COVID protocols, and it's like,
and that might make him tired if you think. I mean, because
exactly,
he's playing a guy like Schroeder to handle the ball.
He's playing all these minutes, and your best defensive player's out, AD, and you're not your best offensive player, but the guy that you have been leaning on for guard shot creation and
I mean,
points.
yeah, let's not praise AD's offense too high this year. He can't even average more than my King Julius.
Yeah, I was talking about fucking Schroeder, but yes,
okay.
you were so locked in, you were ready. You weren't even listening to the second half because you were like you were about to check swing. You were in your stance already, waiting to hit the Julius home run out of the counter, the Julius counter out of the park. But yeah, he was missing Schroeder and Trez,
NAD.
you know, NAD, and it's like, okay, LeBron can play a lot of minutes, but he can't play a lot of minutes in that situation where everybody else. And I got to say that's one that I'm wrong on. I thought Wes Matthews had a little more left in the tank. He was good for the Bucks last year, but yeah, he basically fell out of the rotation. He did play some good defense on Jimmy yesterday.
He's still a pretty good defender, but I just don't. You need offense. Like the thing about Caldwell Pope, we've talked about.
Shooter.
Caldwell Pope has been so good. I mean, he's such a good player. And I think he's got that championship swagger. Like you just see a dude, like it's like a guy after he gets laid for the first time, and you're just like, this dude's fucking walking differently.
Yeah.
Caldwell
absolutely,
Pope, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, KCP's definitely, yes, for sure. Although last night he was more of the watered down Jack and Coke from our analogy earlier. So yeah, I don't know. Are there any other games you wanted to highlight from the last couple of days? I feel like I'm forgetting one of them that I wanted to talk about.
I mean,
the Blazers lost to the fucking Wizards last night. That was brutal.
I didn't watch that one.
That was brutal. I watched that one. That was a late game, and Dame had something like 4 or 5 points in the first half, and then he went. Or I'm sorry.
He hit that logo 3,
and then he went the fuck off. It was like. Dame was like, I'm not losing to the Wizards in the second half. Now, he ended up losing to the Wizards, but he had an incredible second half. It was just like...
Did not shoot the ball well, though. 10 of 30, damn.
And here's the thing. Russ played incredible. And when
he gets up for Dame.
Yes. But, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. That's the only good games Russ has had has been against Brooklyn and against Dame. And it's like,
and look at this. Russ only took 1 3 last night. It's like, it's funny,
dude. When Russ plays like this, right? Russ had what was it? He had 27, 13, and 11, and he shot 65% from the field. When you have Russell Westbrook like that, like you get MVP
Double-double.
Russ 1 out of every 9 or 10 games. But when you do, it's like fucking incredible. And Beal played great too. He was 59%. They were both very efficient, which they haven't been. Beal had 37 to Russ's 27. And it's like, that's the theory of this team. Like that's when if you go back to the preseason, when we were talking about them, that's what I thought was possible. But Russ just is usually not an efficient player. And, you know, Beal, for as much as he scores, has not been efficient. Now, that's not really his fault. I mean, I think his team just sucks dick, but
Beal is having a fucking year, man. He is
when this team is this efficient, it's like you can't. What the fuck are you supposed to do with and it's just hard to snap your 5-game win streak on the fucking Washington Wizards.
That's where it happens, dude. You let your guard down
one.
for a second. I want to give a quick shout out to the game. I hate to give it to him, but the Charlotte Hornets, man, and Scary Terry with the game winner on the Warriors. And I'm giving another shout out in this game. First off, Scary Terry having a great season. Low key having a really, really good season, even though Stav constantly disrespects Scary Terry.
I don't constantly disrespect
you always
him. You overrate him.
Scary Terry is a scary dude. So
damn, dude, is that your new catchphrase?
That's my new catchphrase. You don't fucking mess with Scary Terry.
Scary Terry is a scary dude. Scary guy, dude.
So I'm putting out another fucking shout out to my main man who a lot of you fucking PDL listeners might have given up on, but I never gave up on. My man, Kelly Oubre, who has been balling lately. His last 3 games, 25, 26, 23. He's raised his 3-point percentage from 20% to 32.4. And that's because he's been shooting the lights out lately.
Such an awesome number that you are bragging about.
Because he started so ice cold, that means he's been hot lately, Stav. That's all I'm saying.
That is not impressive. Saying it that way, you picked the worst way to frame it. Find his shooting percentage from the last 5 games. It'll sound better than 32.
Yeah, okay. His last 3 games, he's shooting 11 for 22 from 3. That's pretty good.
50%. Very good,
Yeah.
Sam.
My point. That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Put some respect.
That
on
sounds
Kelly
way better
Oubre's
than
name.
32% for the season.
Because the point is, the real
I get the point.
The real mathemaniacs out there. Listen up, brothers. Listen up, mathemaniacs. You know that when you start 20% and then raise it throughout a season of 32, you know that my main man KO is balling.
Wow, you're silver tongued today, dude, with the catchphrases.
No, Oubre's been balling. So proud of Kelly for getting back. And you know, the Hornets have been sneaky fun to watch. And
oh, totally. LaMelo, we sucked him off on the Patreon. If you're not a listener, go to patreon.com/poddon'tlie for 2 episodes a week. We do a bonus every either Thursday or Friday, typically. But yeah, we sucked him off as one of the guys that we hadn't given enough love to. And yeah, he's ever since he starting, he's been incredible and just really looking like the best player in this draft without fucking question.
Although that Anthony Edwards dunk was dope.
Oh my God. Listen, they had to pick so disrespectful to the nation of Japan to find one of 2 Japanese players in the NBA and have that disrespectful of a dunk. I mean, poor fucking Watanabe he's a good player. He's on the Raptors. He's like a hustle player, but God damn, and it's like they got like 17 angles and all of them, his face is just like, oh no. It's like, it's brutal. Yes, Anthony Edwards had such a fucking great dunk. It was so good. I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you've seen the fucking
poor Watanabe, dude. Also, Kevin Hart with his like 100-something million Instagram followers just posted, goes, "Why did you have to do this to this man?" It's like, can you imagine? You make it to the NBA, you make it far, and then your shot is just.
Yeah, no, that's that, and his name is so fun that like I don't like Mozgov. Like, remember for years getting dunked on was getting Mozgov because of what Blake did to him. So this. I haven't heard it, but getting Watanabe sounds awesome. You know what I mean? Getting Watanabe sounds fucking good. So I hope it doesn't happen to him. But yeah, it was a borderline hate crime against the Japanese, against the proud Nipponese people.
That was
the way
up.
he fucking. I mean, and he got so high. It was. I mean. I can't even dream.
If that happened in a video game, you'd be like, that's not realistic. That's how I like that Nate Duncan had to tweet about it. Like, he's shooting 0 for 7 from 3, by the way. He's having he's having a horrible night, but everyone wants to.
Shut the fuck up.
But that is basketball fandom right now. It's like the famous, even I guess back in the day, the famous Julius Randle dunk. They were down like 20. That's why he did that dunk.
Yeah. And guess what? I don't give a fuck. I wasn't alive back then, I wasn't alive. I didn't have any money on the game. It didn't matter to me. In next year, 5 years, 10 years from now, no one is going to give a fuck that he had a bad shooting night.
Then if you're going to have that angle, then don't disrespect me. Next time I send you a Kelly Oubre putback dunk and they're down 15.
No, we're doing serious basketball analysis here.
Damn
Sam.
you, Stavi, baby. Damn you.
It is funny though, because Nate, I do listen to Dunked On sometimes. I think he's a good perspective to have. But yeah, it's like he was getting flambéed all over Twitter. I was just reading you see people quote tweeting him, and it just like at first it was like, oh, the fucking here come the fun police, and people are just, and then if you scroll down, it's just people using slurs. Damn. Calling him like just brutal stuff.
Keep it civil. He's just making a fucking basketball point, guys. Jesus Christ. I want to go through these all-star lists with you.
Let's go through
the people came, baby.
Let's go through these fucking all-star lists.
You want to start East or West?
You know what I want to start? I want to start by taking a break and clearing my mind, and that's why I have some delicious high quality CBD products here, Sam.
The best.
You can't prove that this isn't CBD on camera. from our friends at cushydreams.com. Yeah, I took it out of the beautiful vacuum sealed tin and put it in a fucking put it in a plastic bag because that's what I like. But you guys gotta when preparing for this podcast, the reason me and Sam have such salient, beautiful points is because our heads are clear because we have just imbibed some delicious, like I said, high quality CBD from our friends at Cushy Dreams. I personally like to, before the show, like to smoke the fucking create, the hustle to get me in the fucking zone to go. And I'm a pre-roll guy typically, except for this instance when I was smoking the tin, which comes in 3.5 grams of delicious CBD from Cushy Dreams. It's just, some of the best, not some of the best CBD on the market, folks. And it's not, what are you, a fucking baby with a little ass dick? You want gummies? No, smoke it. Smoke it,
dude.
earn it.
Heard that. Make it burn in your throat. Make it burn like Kelly Oubre from 3 the last 3 nights.
There he is, shooting 50%. That's what you want to do. You want to smoke that shit. And if you want to do that like us, like we do all the damn time, then you're going to want to go to cushydreams.com. CBD.com would be a hilarious website to have. Go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com. Use promo code PODDON'T. That's PODDONT. And you will get 20% off your order. So that's fucking beautiful, huh, folks? So yeah, go to cushydreams.com, promo code PODDON'T. Go fucking nuts. Go fucking crazy.
I'm loving these little joints. They're great.
I love the 0.5s. So smoke those. You get 0.5 joints. You get fucking full gram joints. Whatever the fuck you want to do, baby. And get those. And don't forget to use our promo code. And now that we are all energized, I just smoked some CBD. We cut really fast. That's how good Hard Dick Harry is at editing. You couldn't even tell how seamless it was. But believe me, we definitely just smoked CBD. And now I'm ready to discuss the fucking
are we starting east or west?
You know what? You drive this fucking car, baby, because I have my guys, but I
think we start west because the east is actually a little harder.
Let's start west. You're right. East, we're an East Coast pod.
We have the same starters in the west.
The starters have to be who the starters are.
No, this is our list, dude. We can be whatever we want. It doesn't matter because we have the same.
Well, at this point, let's go with as it's. I think we both on the Patreon were very clear that we would prefer Dame over Luka. But for the purposes of this exercise, the starters have been selected for us, and let's go with the reserves.
Well, for this, do you want me to go? You want to go my list, then your list? You want to go one by one?
Sure. Let's go your list, my list.
Okay. So here's what I got.
Okay.
Obviously, Dame Lillard.
Dame Lillard, baby, for sure.
Obviously, I got.
And hold on, to refresh everybody who doesn't know, the starters on the West are LeBron, Kawhi, Jokic, and Steph Curry and Luka Doncic. And so from there, what we do now is
I wanted Dame on that.
Yes, we both wanted Dame. We both wanted Dame. And go to the Patreon. We talked about it. And the way it works now, the coaches will vote the final. I believe 7. And the way it works is you get 3 front court players, 2 back court players, and 2 wild cards. So having said that, let's begin.
All right. So I got Dame. And this isn't in order. This is just my entire squad. All right.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Can you go back court first or front court first or some shit like that?
I'll do back court first.
Okay.
And it's hard to know some of these guys are back court or front court, but
yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, Dame. Paul George, I assume, is a shooting guard.
Let's say front. No, I would say I think he's a forward for this.
Okay, so Paul George, I think he could be a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I think he's basically played 2 with this team, but I think he's listed as a forward. I don't fucking know.
It's confusing, man. Like some of these, I was playing 2K the other day. They have Dario Saric listed as a center. I'm like,
that's weird.
It's weird. Jimmy Butler's like either a 2 or a 3. They always kind of go weird directions with him.
I feel like he's a 3. I feel like
I think he's a 3, but
especially with the way the Heat play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to tell. But here's what I got for guards. All right, Luka. If he's not a guard,
Luka's in. So we're talking Dame.
Oh yeah, Dame. Donovan Mitchell, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
I got Devin Booker.
Okay, that's the wild card. So let's both agree Dame and Donovan Mitchell are our guards, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
No way around it. And some people can make fucking statistical arguments for Donovan Mitchell, but it's like, here's the point. It's the All-Star game. The Jazz are the fucking best team. Of all the teams, right? Like in the past, teams with great records, you say, well, they need more All-Stars, right?
Right.
I think the only team this year that you can make that argument for is the Jazz. If the Jazz end up theoretically with 3, I don't even think that's that crazy. That's how good they've been, how fucking awesome this team has been. So I think for sure it's got to be Donovan Mitchell and Dame. So let's go front court.
No doubt. Okay.
So we both agree. We both agree.
I think we're going to agree on front court as well. I would think.
Let's
got
talk.
Rudy and AD.
Rudy, AD. No, it's 3. So it's Rudy, AD, and Paul George.
Paul George.
Okay, yeah. So no disagreements there for either of us. This is fucking boring. We're gonna be done. This is gonna be a 37-minute podcast.
We might disagree on. Well, the East is going to get harder.
And there's gonna be this is where the final 2 is really where it comes down. For
and
both.
you might not like them, but I got Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
You got both of them. Come on, dude.
Well, okay. Well, who do you think should be in instead? They've got a better record. This is how I break it down. I have a list of honorable mentions that I'll give a shout out to. Do you want to hear my honorable mentions?
Sure.
Zion, obviously. De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
Having a great year, and the record is very good. Karl Anthony Towns, 2 straight years he's not in. I don't
think Karl Anthony Towns qualifies.
As an honorable mention, just based on his brilliant skill set, yes. Gilgeous Alexander and Ja Morant. Those are my honorable mentions.
I think I don't think you can fucking
have 2 sons in there.
I don't think so. I think Zion. I was out on Zion, but he's been the Pelicans have kind of hit their stride a little bit. They've let him do a lot more, and he's put on some crazy performances. And at the end of the day, for me, a partial tiebreaker for me is like. From my personal list is let's fucking think who's going to make the game fun. You know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
And whose skill set isn't represented here. And I struggled with this because I had Zion in and I didn't know what to do with the last spot because of, I think.
Zion in over who? Devin or Chris Paul?
Devin. I have him over Devin Booker.
Here's my problem.
I just don't think Devin Booker, he hasn't been as good as last year. And I think a lot of the Suns' improvements have been, he's shooting less. I know Chris Paul is coming, but the improvements have been on defense, which I think that's Chris Paul too. I just think that's his leadership. I just think it's like his fucking his sort of mentorship. The Thunder, he did a similar thing too. And I just think if you're gonna pick one of them, it's got to be CP3.
Here's where I disagree with you. All right. Now Devin Booker is averaging 2 points a game less than he did last year, but the team is winning. Second,
why is it winning? Because of fucking Chris Paul.
Let me finish.
Of Devin Booker?
Let me finish.
Okay.
He's shooting better from 2-point range and 3-point range this year.
Okay.
He is a more efficient. He is a scorer. He's a more efficient player than he was last year, and they are winning. They're 17-10. You can't just only say it's because of Chris Paul. I think Paul. If you have to choose one of them, you take Chris Paul. But I think they've earned 2 this year.
Well, I think you're wrong and you're a dumb bitch. And I would say...
That's very rude. I mean, if we can't have a civil discourse, then I don't know what we're doing. This is unacceptable.
And here's what I'm going to say. Fuck him and Chris Paul, and I'm putting De'Aaron Fox into my fucking team.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because you have a bias and you're ignorant, Stavros.
Okay.
Stavros.
All right, you're right. We should remove personal biases from this. So I'll go with Chris Paul and Zion Williamson.
That's good. That? I think that's fair. We disagree on one. I think Zion is a fair. My reasoning for putting Devin Booker in over Zion is better record, and he's averaging more points. And Zion's stats across the board aren't incredible.
But they've ticked up a lot, and also it's just like he hasn't had the reign of the offense, and he hasn't had until recently. It's more of a crowded, and the idea here is Devin Booker still has the ability to be the Suns' whole offense if he wanted it. That's out there for him, and I just don't think he's risen to the occasion. And I think the reason
he's more efficient than he was last year, and
because he's got because he's one of the best point guards of all time. That's why his efficiency is ticked up, and that's why.
Okay,
and look, I'm not saying he sucks, right? I think this is going to become apparent. There's a whole class of players, and honestly, I would have loved to get SGA in there. I fucking love SGA.
I love SGA.
He's playing out of his fucking mind too. What are Booker's numbers? Just so
he's averaging 24 a game.
24 and what? How many assists?
How many assists? He's got 4 assists, 4 boards. You know,
Yeah.
he's not having an incredible statistical year, but they're winning.
Fuck him. I would put De'Aaron Fox over him. I would
Okay,
put Mike Conley over him. Honestly, I want to see Mike Conley in there, bro.
Mike Conley, maybe the best player I'd say in the game who's never been an All-Star. I mean, it's just based on his.
And here's my prediction. Ready? Here's a prediction.
That's not I don't think Conley is. I don't think that's an insane. I should have given him an honorable mention. You're right.
Here's my prediction. Ready?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis isn't going to play because he's injured. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think injury replacement with the Jazz playing the way they are, Conley never having made it. I think Conley gets in as an injury replacement. That's my prediction. I would think that
would be a great story, and I'd be very happy for him. I'm a big fan.
And you know what? I'll say this: fuck Devin Booker. Because he's, even though it's like he doesn't have to be the like main. Look, I know the Suns are good.
You're a fucking Booker hater.
No, I'm saying De'Aaron Fox is the guy on his team. Okay, he's been very clutch. Now he's up and down. I get that, but he's averaging 23, but he's averaging 7 assists, 3.5 rebounds. Not the shooting percentages that
I'm
that
not
Booker
mad
has.
I'm not mad at your disagreements. Even I think these are my picks. I think De'Aaron Fox is a great pick. I'd love to see him in an All-Star game because he's so fast and he can make the game exciting. I think so. I don't hate this. I just think Chris Paul. You have to recognize his excellence at his age. He's about to fucking pass Magic Johnson in the assists. He's going to pass fucking Mark Jackson. He's going to be a top 3 assist guy, I think, by the end of his career.
Yeah, I mean, and he seems like he's good. He's found
he's balling, dude.
The way for longevity. I think it sucks. I feel bad for CJ because I think he definitely would have been an All-Star.
That one hurts the most, I think, because he deserved it.
Yeah, he was fucking awesome. But you're right. It is funny because I straight up have not watched. Like I will just admit it. If you're a fucking Spurs fan, I'm sorry. I have not really watched the Spurs. I've watched them. I've watched like 2 games, and DeRozan is fucking so. And you know what? They're good. That's the thing. It's like if you just go by these metrics of like what teams that are winning and good players on those teams, DeRozan is really fucking good. And he's very efficient. He's gotten pretty efficient.
I wonder if the Lakers regret signing Schroeder or trading for Schroeder rather than DeRozan, because DeRozan wanted to go to LA. He's from LA. He's an LA guy. I think maybe they worried about ball handling, but he's fucking getting
how old is DeRozan? I
don't know. I want to say like 30, 32 or something.
Because I feel like part of the Schroeder thing is they were more part
31.
of that
He's
deal.
from Compton.
No, I know he wants to play there. Part of the deal though, I think, is that Schroeder really they saw him as a guy that they could just pay going forward. They're not scared to give him his next contract.
Okay, but let me tell you something about DeRozan though. 7 assists a game, dude.
Yeah. No, I think
he's creating for them. He's opened up his game.
I think without a question that's a very interesting idea. I just wonder what the Spurs would have traded, because they got Schroeder for what? Danny Green, right? Like that's Danny Green in a 1st-round pick, or like a shitty 1st-round pick. I wonder if the Spurs would have done that. I'm not sure if they would have. If you're the Spurs, because the Spurs weren't.
You don't do that.
Anyway.
So yeah, no, I mean, look, I think I'm on record. I also don't hate Zion and De'Aaron being in the All-Star game. I think they're both fun to watch. And this, at the end of the day, is about. It's supposed to be a fun game. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And Ingram's has good numbers too, but I just think the Pelicans aren't good enough.
You can't take 2, and if you're taking 1, it's Zion.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what? That's another honorable mention I should have thrown out there. And Christian Wood is honestly another honorable mention, because if he wasn't injured, he's in the conversation as well.
Christian Wood is in the CJ, like, damn, I wish this guy didn't get hurt.
But CJ was dropping like 26 a game, and he was doing it beautifully and efficiently. CJ is like just one of those dudes where the way he scores is it's like those moves, those teardrops off the glass. CJ fucking rules, man.
Yeah, I love him.
There's rumors that the Knicks are trying to grab him.
Oh shit! More word on the street?
Word in the street.
For what?
We don't know yet, but
The streets aren't talking that much.
the
This is
streets,
just barely one word, just a couple words on the
New York
street.
Daily News says that we're trying. World Wide West is trying back channels to get Bradley Beal here.
I love that. I love it. West, do your fucking thing, baby.
Yeah, no, it's Blazers Edge says New York's interested in CJ McCollum. NBA Analyst Network says Knicks monitoring CJ McCollum ahead of trade. And Clutch Point says CJ a new target for the Knicks, with the Knicks monitoring Blazers guards.
Wow.
The monitoring is off the charts.
I love the monitoring. They got they have literally a fucking baby monitor in CJ's house. Anytime he moves, there's a camera in fucking Leon Rose's office. He's looking at grainy. Yeah, he's in a big crib.
He's in a big giant bed, like.
What the fuck would we have that the Blazers want?
I mean, who
RJ?
knows? No, RJ's staying. It looks like.
I mean, but I don't even know if they want him. But I'm saying that's the kind of player that you would think, like a big wing that can play defense. That's really what they need.
Looks like anyone is available except RJ. So maybe Mitch or something. I don't fucking know.
Hysterical. Okay. So this is nothing. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Word on the street doesn't always have to break down. Word on the street is strictly to just create buzz.
Anything but the only semi-valuable asset on the team is available. That's really interesting.
Let me tell you something, brother. Word on the street is for the people. It's for to start some convo. It's to get the discourse going.
Let me check in on you and see.
I'd say we accomplished that.
Let me check in on you and see how insane you are. Would you trade Julius Randle for CJ McCollum?
Absolutely not, dude.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yes. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Absolutely not. You say absolutely not.
Do you want to hear my reasoning or not?
I love your reasoning.
CJ's 29. Okay. He's excellent, but he's an undersized two guard, right? He's a very good player. Now,
what is
Julius Randle is 26. He's only going to get better, dude. Like, we haven't seen his ceiling yet.
Damn. All right. Okay. Let's put a pin on this.
Wrong?
One of us will be wrong. Put a pin on this, everyone. Let's come back in 2 years, see how it looks. That's all I'm saying.
A 6'3" shooting guard at 31 versus a fucking monster who's only getting bigger at 28.
He's getting big. He's growing. We're waiting for a growth spurt too, Sam. He's only getting bigger.
Julius has just tapped into what's special about. All right, on that note, let's go to the fucking East, because I know that you're going to disrespect the King. So let's just get to it.
All right, let's see what our fucking
You want to start? I mean, with your bench now. So the starting five is Embiid, Giannis, Durant, Kyrie, and Bradley Beal.
Okay. So I have in terms of the lockery doodads. Let's start with the guards. Jaylen Brown is listed as a guard. Well, Harden is the absolute lock of all locks.
Sure. Well, for me, it's Harden and Brown.
Harden and Brown for guards for me. And then front court, I got to give it to my man Chris Middleton, and I'm gonna say Tatum.
Fresh off a 5-game losing streak.
That one's hard. Tatum's hard. I would love to leave Tatum off. So and then I got
his numbers when he's there. Tatum is very good.
Yeah, and then wild cards. So now we have So your guards, we have no disagreement. Your forwards, do we have any disagreement, Sam? Or should I say my wild cards?
Just say your wild cards and I'll get to my picks, because mine are very different from yours.
It's hard for me to think about. This is the most difficult one, okay? Because you're right. The East is harder than the West this year, because at the end of the bench, I could hear arguments for so many players. Of course, you're going to make an impassioned plea. I know you have Julius as a lock of all locks already. So Julius is a discussion there point for me too. Vucevic is though too
absolutely. Vucevic is 23-11 and he's excellent. He's one of the most underappreciated players I'd say of this generation.
Bam and Jimmy both are in the conversation for me.
Of course.
And then for me, honestly, because going back to my like, I want a fucking exciting, awesome game. I want to see Zach LaVine in there. He's efficient. He's been efficient.
We're talking about fucking bias, and we're talking about your fucking
no.
steak bias.
This is not. believe me, I wanted, and of course Trae Young is in discussion, but to me, it came down to
my list.
for one of he's not even on your list. He's not even an honorable mention.
He's an honorable mention.
Okay, all right.
Trae Young fuckboy is not in my locks.
Oh no, he's not in my locks. In fact, I left him off my team, or maybe I will.
I left him off.
I'm giving Zach LaVine one of the wild card spots because his numbers are out of fucking control.
You can't leave him off and put him on and put Julius off.
Yes, I can. I'm doing it right now,
dude. All right,
I'm doing it right now. His numbers are are better. They're more exciting. He's a more exciting player. We've got a lot of people with Julius's profile. Julius has very similar numbers to fucking what's his face in Sabonis. He has similar numbers, similar to Vucevic, who's sort of on an island there, marooned on an island.
And Vucevic has worse overall numbers and on a worse team. So
yeah, he's got nobody. Vucevic has absolutely nobody. Everybody got fucking
worst record is my point. Julius has raised them up. Knicks were supposed to be the worst team in the league on lists this year, and you're giving no respect to King Julius.
I'm saying he's in the conversation for that last spot. And let's take it easy. They're under 500, so let's fucking stop acting like they're fucking 14 and 0.46, 14 and 16. The Hornets have a better record. You know what? I'm sorry. Gordon Hayward deserves it more than Julius Randle since winning is so important now.
Who told you this? Your buddy at the Capitol?
Yeah.
Boo. He doesn't deserve it more than fucking Julius, dude.
I'm just saying, if now we're talking about putting up numbers on these,
it's a combination of numbers,
teams,
impact,
so they're 14 that have 14 fucking wins. Wow, dude. 14 and 16. You're right. He's really changed the culture. It has nothing to do with a fucking coach that single-handedly did everything and is juicing him completely. He'll be a husk of himself. He'll be a used-up husk by next year. His ACL is turning into powder right now. His knees.
Your disrespect is loud and clear, and we don't need you on this Knicks train, motherfucker. We don't need you anymore. You're not wanted. And my thing, you're showing no respect. He's shooting 40% from three, you fucking idiot. His efficiency means nothing to you.
Look, I'm just saying on a 14 and 16
23
team,
points, 11 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 40 from three, 48
nice
from the
season.
field.
He should be really proud of himself. Not an all-star.
You're an embarrassment to the fucking podcast. You should be ashamed.
Look, a very nice season, a good story. He's doing his best on a team that's under 500.
Despicable. So you're leaving him off.
Well, I can't decide. I want to hear your team so we can debate this. Who do you have on? Who do you have off? What are your differences from my team?
Okay, you want to hear my differences?
Yeah.
I got Jaylen Brown and Harden are obviously both locks. You have to respect Jaylen Brown right now because of the season he's having is excellent, I think. My forwards, King Julius and Jason Tatum right now.
Okay.
I have a wild card for Bam. I mean, for Sabonis, rather.
Interesting. Julius and Sabonis.
Here's my reasoning for Bam. I think
you got to pick one of those guys.
I think Bam. I really like Bam. I think probably overall his defensive impact is greater than both of those for sure, but his numbers are not as good as either of them, and his records are not as good as either of them. So that makes it tough for me. I have Bam as
no. That's yeah.
I think if we're just going, here's the question right now for my last two picks, because I'd love, in terms of the basketball fan in me, I want Jimmy Butler on there. Jimmy's like, I'm thinking, hey, if I were going to buy two non-Knicks jerseys in the NBA, if I were that type of dude who would like, I'll rock any jersey, it'd probably be a Jimmy jersey, one of those, and a fucking Dame Lillard jersey. They're two of my favorite players. Yeah. So I want Jimmy on there here. And I think in terms of like how good is the guy, I think Bam should probably be on there too. But here's where it gets hard for me. I think Vucevic is definitely an honorable mention. I think in terms of, I think fans would probably want Trae Young in there. I don't think he's earned it, to be honest. I think LaVine has probably earned it more than Trae Young this year. I agree with you.
Thank you.
And I think LaVine is, like Julius, are two guys who are like stepped it the fuck up this year. They're two dudes. I mean, like, I hate to make this about the race for steak, but they're two of the most improved players undeniably.
Yes. And you know what? That's a good way to put it. It comes down to who do you prefer between, I think Julius's rivals to get in are Sabonis, Bam on one hand in terms of like the forwards, but on the other hand, in the context you just said, it's either one of those three, or the other way you can look at it is it's him or Levine because of what you just said. And to me, give me a fucking high flying dunker that's fucking scoring, that's a fucking alpha dog scorer. I would just rather see that, man. I would rather see.
Where would you see that? No one can dunk on the East. There's no Giannis Antetokounmpo or fucking Kevin
Zach
Durant.
Levine's the best dunker in the fucking league, dude. Or at least he was. I don't know.
He was. He's up. Aaron Gordon. Yeah. Why don't we put Aaron Gordon in the fucking game too?
Listen.
Why don't we put? Hey. You know what? Let's take LeBron out and put Derrick Jones Jr. in there. You're right.
Oh, okay. You say the difference between Zach LaVine and Julius Randle is LeBron and Derrick Jones Jr. That's the goal.
I'll give you this. I'm looking at records right now, and if we take everything into account, I personally I think Julius is better than Sabonis by this much. I think he's like slightly better. I think Sabonis is a terrific player.
I would put Julius over Sabonis. I just think neither of them makes it this year. And we haven't said Ben Simmons' name either.
Simmons is the tough one. I think he is the one. I might have to take Bam out and put him in as a wild card because of the Sixers record and because he's 15-8-8 and what he does on defense is outstanding. And I think the Heat right now, like, we're giving them a lot of credit based on last year rather than this year. Yeah.
It's not just last year, but it's also like you can it's tough because it's like project. And this is a point John Hollinger made because I was looking through a bunch of the other people, I was reading through a bunch of people's and Hollinger's list is kind of fucking crazy. It is like, it's pretty like nerdy. It's kind of like the Nate Duncan talking about, if shooting splits during
is Julius on there or no?
No, not even a question. He was sort of like, oh, it's cute, but no.
Despicable.
But his point was like, he had both Jimmy and Bam, and his conversation, his point was at the end of the year, is this going to look fucking ridiculous? You know what I mean? Like, because if Jimmy plays like he is now.
Okay, so are we giving the MVP award in the third round of the playoffs?
It's not the MVP. No, we're doing it the regular season. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. This is, you choose the All-Stars now, not based on what we predict the second half of the season.
There is no hard and fast rule on that shit. I mean, how stupid does it look? Think about that Pacers team that fell apart. Remember that team? They had 3 All-Stars, and then Paul George fucked what's his face's fiance. He fucked Roy Hibbert's fiance.
Man, he is a bad teammate.
He's a really bad teammate.
Paul George is either gonna fuck your fiance or just be rude. Either way.
That's unsubstantiated, by the way. We do know he cheated on Doc Rivers' daughter with a stripper who is now his wife that All-Star break. So that I think is actually on the record, but we don't. The rumor is that's why Roy Hibbert crumbled emotionally, because he did the second half of that year. So I don't know. Now to your point though, I disagree with that. I actually do disagree with that point with Hollinger, and I had to leave Jimmy and Bam off.
I resent that just because someone's exciting. I think Levine should be on. I'll give you that. But then Levine over Jimmy Butler's tough for me. That's really tough because I think Jimmy is such a likable player in the NBA. He's such a star, and if he were healthy the entire year, are we even having this conversation?
We're not, but he wasn't, And
but okay, well then why is Kyrie in? I mean, as you said, this is the All-Star.
Because his numbers are fucking eye-popping. Jimmy's aren't yet.
Okay, but Jimmy's never been a numbers. Jimmy's never been a numbers guy. But who would you rather have, Jimmy or Kyrie?
I mean, probably it depends, but yeah, probably Jimmy.
Probably Jimmy.
Depending on your team.
But then Kyrie, that's my argument for Julius. Jimmy Butler is not as flashy as Kyrie Irving, but are we talking about who we just want to watch in like a fucking street game? Or are we talking about?
We literally are. That's what the All-Star game is.
I think it's a combination of excitement and also what you've accomplished.
I got to tell you, it's really not though. It's for the fucking average fan, and they would rather.
Why was Karl Malone an All-Star every year? Is he exciting?
Because he's that good, bro. Come on, it's like Rudy Gobert is not. You're right at the absolute highest level.
Then why is Rudy in? If we're just talking about excitement, get Karl Anthony Townsend and say fuck off to Rudy.
No, you fucking dunce. It's because
Piece of shit.
If you're very good, but then we're talking about the tiebreakers.
Well, then why
we're
is
talking
Ben
about the fucking
Sim- then why
tiebreakers.
is Ben Simmons not in? We're doing 1 seed. We're giving the Jazz undeniably 2. Why is Ben
Maybe
Simmons
3.
not in?
Because they're not as good as the Jazz. The Jazz are head and shoulders above, have been playing out of their minds. The Sixers, we just talked about how the East isn't that far away. We opened the podcast talking about that. 20-10 versus what? 18 and fucking 12?
Here's another honorable mention I'm giving. 2. Obviously Chris Middleton for my list. And then obviously,
He's making it, bitch.
obviously you got to
40-90.
I think you got to give some
40-90.
respect to Terry Rozier, who's putting up great numbers on a team that's winning games,
So he's the first name you say over Gordon Hayward on that team?
Hayward or Rozier, I think one of them. And then I have Van Vliet, absolutely 20 a game, bringing them back.
Van Vliet is interesting. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about him, but yeah, he's cool.
And Brogdon is absolutely in the conversation. He's been excellent.
I might make my wild cards Levine and Simmons, man. Fuck it.
I think that's totally reasonable. My wild cards are probably, yeah. I mean, shit. Maybe I choose Randle, leave off Sabonis, and throw in. Fuck, it's hard. Although I think Sabonis has been. I do got to give it up for Bam's defense. So yeah, I guess I got to put Bam in there, and just his defense is outstanding. And I want Jimmy in there, dude. I fucking love Jimmy Butler.
So I think
so. I'll replace.
Yeah.
No. I'm moving out. I'm taking out Sabonis, and I'm replacing him with Zach LaVine, I think.
All right. So then go through.
Or maybe.
I think that's too many players.
You know what? Actually, go fuck yourself. I'm putting Ben Simmons on there.
Okay. You said like 15 guys.
All right. You want to hear the list?
So give me your 7
off the bench.
Off the bench. Give me your reserves.
Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Julius Randle, Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, Bam, and Jimmy Butler.
Okay, interesting. You're going chalk see, and that's what's so funny. Your list is basically a rejection of Julius Randle because you've put guys that have proven it, even though their numbers aren't really there. Your one flashy player is Julius Randle. Your own homerism has blinded you.
No.
It's flying in the eyes of your own criteria. I don't know. I'm not a homer. I ain't fucking.
You know what?
Giannis and Chris Middleton, the shooting 40, 50, 90.
I don't think Middleton's going to be one this year.
I bet you he's making it, motherfucker. Especially because you got to think the coaches are selecting it.
Do you think they're going to pick Middleton over Ben Simmons? That's interesting to me. Hot off a 5-game losing streak, motherfucker.
The timing is very tough, but he's still 26-6, and without Giannis on the floor, he's per 36, he's 37-7, and he's shooting 51, 43, 91.
No, he's unbelievable shooter. No denying it.
And he's better off the bounce. He's a better all-around player. He improves, and I just think he's going to get in. He's on my team. But I guess I
have a hard time leaving Sabonis off, but I think you're right.
Sabonis is off, bro. That's not a hard one for me at all.
Okay. Well,
so I would say
I really do think Julius. I really think I would love to.
Listen, okay.
It's not. I'm not blinded because I'd actually rather see LaVine in the game than Simmons, but I don't like you for leaving off Randall. So it's
trolling aside.
It's a spite pick.
All trolling aside.
But I wouldn't be mad if you take LaVine over like Jimmy or Bam as like a wild card just based on what he's done this year. But I personally am a big Jimmy Butler fan.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go through my team. Harden, Tatum, Brown, Middleton, and then. Who did I say? Levine.
Look at us both picking 2 Celtics.
I know it's brutal. That's really the answer. We should leave. Oh, Levine, Simmons, and then who is my last guy?
You got no Bam or Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide I think I got to go Bam, honestly. And you know what? That's all my trolling of you aside. That is really where, like, I wouldn't actually be mad if that spot went to Levine, Bam, or Jimmy or Julius, right? I wouldn't. I think he's earned. I just had to troll you. I had to troll you the whole. I had to troll you the whole episode. You think?
Hit it, Harry.
He's earned being in the discussion. I do think
if you've actually watched the games, you can't deny that he's been excellent. I mean,
yeah,
the 44-point game.
He really has been.
And he's changed his whole philosophy.
Listen, I had to troll you this whole episode.
Yeah.
You understand that.
No,
if
I
I came
understand.
on here and said Julius Randle is a shoo-in, this episode would be the most boring episode we've ever done. But honestly, I'm gonna take stills of your eyes when I was like, he sucks. He's not what you were. Maybe the maddest you've ever been at me in our entire friendship.
I questioned our friendship. I questioned everything about it. I was like, is he even my boy?
But I think
we do have to give a shout out to Trae Young, though I really don't think he deserves to be it, because I think he took a spot away from someone like
it was Beal last year. It was Beal.
Well, Beal and arguably Levine, who was like 25, 26 a game. So I think really Beal, though. And he took a starting spot, and Beal. So to me, I'm sorry, I don't think Trae Young should be an all-star. I don't like how he plays. I think he is undeniably an overachiever at his size and very talented. But I don't like that like fallback draw.
The
foul
lack
bullshit.
of honor. That is what's taking him off my team, because you could make the argument that Levine scores more, a little bit more, but his playmaking is not close to Trae's a better passer, has more assists.
Yeah.
But the lack of honor and the way he plays and the fact that he does not do cool dunks is a fucking deal breaker for me, and we got to give that spot to Levine.
No, I'll take I'm only choosing Butler over Levine, probably. It's like the same way you give it to Kyrie or someone like that. It's like it is based on the magnitude of who they are.
And who you want to see in the fucking game, too.
And I just am such a fan of Jimmy, and I think you got to, in a year with COVID, if the guy gets COVID, I know, look, Karl Anthony Towns got fucked with that, but the team's just terrible. Yeah. Whereas Jimmy, like, if you make the finals and you have a slow start, like, I'm sorry, you're still Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm not mad if Jimmy makes it over Bam or that last. It's
weird to give Miami 2 All-Stars. I'll give you that too. That it is weird to give him 2 with that record.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 1, and I would be happy with either one, because Bam has been. I mean, he's got like that defense, even with all the blowouts that they fucking had with Jimmy out, it's still the like top 10 defense, and that's all because of Bam. And Bam as a player, he's got his mid-range is better. He's still improving as a fucking passer. He's going to be scary. And he's going to be.
He is 19, 10, and 5. I mean, he is basically kind of like.
Yeah, he's in that zone. That's why I said, to me, it's like Julius, Sabonis, and him. And then when you think about what he does on defense,
Julius has had a better year than Bam so far.
For sure. But it's so far. But I will just say, who would you rather have? Let's be honest. Truth serum. You would rather have Bam.
Yeah, Bam is younger, and of course you can't
better
say
defensive player. Yeah, not as good a shooter right now, but
defensive anchor. But I think also I don't like you act like I want to trade Julius, I'm trying to like look where we're at. I think he can keep getting better. He's on a good contract.
I know you don't want. First of all, you think I think you want to trade Julius? You think that's my problem with what you think about Julius Randle? You're too loosey-goosey with his trades.
I might overrate Julius. You underrate Julius, motherfucker. You underrate Julius.
Perhaps. I just think I
might watch more. I probably watch more Knicks.
You watch more Knicks for sure. Not without a question.
I'm telling you, we haven't had a dude like this in a long time, and he really
he's fucking.
The thing I'll say about
he's
here's
good.
The thing I got to give Julius, even over someone like Carmelo, who's obviously a better player in his prime by far, but.
I might have to just stop listening.
Listen for a sec. Listen, hear me. The 6 assists, the fact that he is doing it with guys, Melo, even if he had these guys, would not get them involved. He would average like 32, but he would have like 3 or 4 assists because Melo never got people involved. And
you're going Nate Duncan on me right now, dude. I just can't. Melo in his prime was just too cool and too good. I can't.
I'm not. I prefaced this with he is not nearly the player Melo is.
Yes.
But
I think
he's playing a higher IQ type of ball right now. I think he is getting people involved. He is looking for players. He is making people better. As our friend John Lasser says, Melo, you take a piece of paper, you put a weight in the middle. He drags everyone down a little bit.
Don't disrespect Syracuse national champion and fucking Towson Christian. I don't remember what team in Baltimore he played for, but he briefly played high school ball in Baltimore.
Carmelo. What I'm saying is, does he make players better? And right now you have to say that Julius is making players better. Yes, motherfucker.
I don't give a fuck.
Hit it, Harry. Hit it.
My dick is too big to even listen to this line of thinking. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for us. A very fun episode. Honestly, this was a fucking blast.
episode.
Provocative.
Shame on you. Shame on you for your Julius slander, but good for you for admitting it was a game.
I still think he shouldn't make it, but yeah,
He should fucking make it.
But I wouldn't.
Thanks, Julius.
All right, we'll be back on the Patreon.
The only
this
way
week.
I'll be happy if he doesn't make it is because maybe that gives us bargaining power when we restructure the contract. Problem is, at this rate, he's definitely going to be one next year. So you're going to have to pay the guy anyway.
You're going to have to pay him one way or the other.
King Julius.
Anyway, folks, listen, you're going to want to subscribe to the Patreon if Julius Randle doesn't make it so that you can hear Sam react to that.
And you're going to want to subscribe if he does make it so you can hear me celebrate.
That's right.
Champagne for all.
So we will be back probably maybe we do it earlier Wednesday this week with a reaction to the All-Star, especially if there's been a couple fun games.
Yeah.
But we'll be back probably Wednesday or Thursday with the Patreon. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate you listening. We will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.